Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions. Once again, it is time for the Almeida Racing League, supported by Podium One and World of Racing. My goodness me, what a season it has been. Incredibly exciting racing all the way through in the Spec Racer Fords. They have produced incredible action at every single round, and this is one of the rounds that myself and Zippy have been looking forward to the most. This one here at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari in Imola, virtual Italy. It's going to be a massively fun time, and we hope that you're settled and comfortable, because it's going to be a great day of racing, or night or morning, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Reese Gardner, and Daniel Zippy Salmon is alongside me in the commentary box. Zippy, you're quite the fan of Imola, I hear.
Yes.
You're already a fan of these cars. We've made that pretty obvious from the very first round of this season, so this is pretty much perfect for you, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Certainly Imola, it's on the Princess approved track list, Reese, and it's one of them that I really enjoy. I definitely think there is a few challenging corners, and I have a feeling a few people may indeed meet the fatality of those sausage curves if they start getting a little bit too flirtatious with the track limits. But I got to admit, I think the final chicane is probably going to be the biggest challenge. That right hand and that left, you can get very aggressive with the cut, but go too sharp and they will absolutely crucify you with a slowdown penalty. But I got to admit, Reese, this is probably one of the most favoured rounds, I'd say, from this season, that I would most want to be out there on the track driving. The straights are long enough, you can get a good slipstream. There's going to be passing opportunities there into turn one. I think we're going to be in for a good day of racing indeed.
Yeah, absolutely we are. The drivers already out in their qualifying session at the moment. Of course, Imola, one of many fantastic circuits that we are going to this season. We've already been to some absolute belters as well. Montreal to start off the season, then Tsukuba, Sebring, Watkins Glen, an endurance round, then Interlagos and Chicago Street Circuit, rounding out the first half of the season. And then flicking on over to the second half, we raced last week at Virginia International Raceway, where we got some pretty fantastic action, it has to be said, although Ian Joyner really dominated proceedings. One more endurance round at Road America coming up, and then we finish the season off at Jerez and at Winton Motor Raceway in Australia. The format for tonight's racing, well, the drivers are in their qualifying session at the moment, as I said. Then we've got two 15-minute heat races, the second of which has a randomized grid invert. This round, it is the top 7 from race 1 that will be flipped for the start of race 2. And then the feature of 20 minutes grid set by heat 2. No fast repairs, fixed setup, everyone's driving the same settings, don't crash. That basically covers it, Zippy.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute belter of a day here of racing. And I got to admit, we've got to say hi to everybody there in the chat. Canadian Cutting Edge, I do believe it's Jake Enns, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you back. And definitely, I think without a doubt, Reese, he's got to be our #1 viewer. I don't think anybody's been able to beat him for some time. And better say with the Academy, we have to thank for that. Cairo Enns being a regular driver. And I have to admit, is he in here yet today? He's not.
No,
Cairo,
he's not.
Get yourself in the rig, my friend. Your dad's there watching. We've also got Max Verstappen. One is the best driver. I have a feeling there may be a little bit of trolling in there, or he's just a very loyal fan. But I'm going to disagree with you. I think Swallow is a better driver indeed. But Max, don't get me wrong, he can wheel a car around all right, I guess. But we've also got N-Tunes in the chat as well, saying he's better than Verstappen. Well, you know what? That's a bold claim by all means. Come into the Academy and show us that is indeed the case. And indeed, if you get Max come to the Academy too, I will personally pay for your membership for the first 12 months. How about that? 12 months, 2 months, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't got that much money.
Get that in writing. Write that down.
Yeah, we'll go for the first 2 months, just because I'd love to see if we can get Max in here competing against Swallow. That would be absolutely incredible. But what I can see right now is a lot of purple sectors. But before we get into that race, let's take a look here at the championship points.
Indeed. So Edwin Rivera was the championship leader for most of this season. He hasn't been here for the last couple of rounds. He did start at Virginia International Raceway, but ended up pulling out of the event. And he doesn't seem to be here today at Imola. So Ian Joyner, having taken the championship lead, may not have much competition from Edwin Rivera. Martin Visser, though, has really come up in pace these last few weeks. He's up in third in the championship, and he was very fast in practice. We have a few drivers from Split 2 in there as well. Jeffrey Adkins and Timo Nolte, Kenel Kassim, Kamel Kassim, my apologies for butchering that. Zdenek Hamak, the next Split 1 driver, in 7th place. And Hamak topped practice, or was very close to doing that. He is currently topping qualifying. So it's looking like we're going to be seeing some late charges from Zdenek Hamak and Martin Visser late on in the season. But can either of them catch Ian Joyner? That is the big question.
Well, one thing I'm going to bring light to is I see Rich Meesters there in P11. I remember I used to absolutely eat this guy for breakfast, and I mean this in the nicest of possible ways. Like, he wasn't that quick. Now, he's P11 in the Almeida Racing Academy, and that's not just like per class, like that's like overall championship, he is P11. Like, that takes a lot of going. A fair play to him. That is quite the achievement. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you do indeed want to get faster, I can verify it works, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen the results. Reece, you've seen the results here as well, watching on the Almeida Academy. I mean, I'm thinking of Jeremy Childers. Actually, he didn't quite make it to Split 1. His first season meeting, second season he came in. He made it indeed to Split 1 and had a lot of good races as well. Indeed, if you want to get faster, you need to be a member of this league and you need to get in on this coursework. And not only that, Twilio has been working very, very hard behind the scenes. He's got a big update coming. It's the Almeida Academy 3.0. That's going to be coming soon. Keep your eyes out, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly keep an eye on them socials as well. He's been doing a couple of interviews. You want to be involved in this league. Certainly we're about round 8 now of an 11-round season. Now's the time to get involved, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready and get yourself trained up a little bit before you start the next season of the Almeida Racing League.
Indeed, all of these drivers, students of the Almeida Racing Academy, and well, Rich Meesters, you were just talking about him, 6th place in qualifying. Very impressive indeed. Kevin Adrian, overall P4 and leading the club class, which is looking quite good for the number 10. He does seem to be quite strong in these Spec Racer Fords. He is looking for a good result though. Last week at VIR, he ended up winning the club class in race 1, but for some reason ended up starting from the pits in race 2. Hopefully we don't see a repeat of that and he can get a fully consistent night out of these 3 races.
Yeah, I think he just missed the race start. I think I remember I was asking him a bit later on, but certainly right now we're going to see if we can get an onboard lap here with Kevin Adrian as he's just coming through the double left-hander at the end of the lap.
Yes, Rivazza is the name of that complex as he comes back onto the start-finish straight. The Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari initially public roads, a brand new road constructed connecting 2 towns south of the river in Imola, and a bunch of local guys decided, hey, we're going to turn this into a racetrack, and they did, and the rest is history. Flat out down the start-finish stretch down to Tamburello. The first chicane here used to be a long sweeping corner that was taken flat out, but unfortunately in 1994, Ayrton Senna crashed right there on the right, and that was one of the fatal crashes that brought about many sweeping changes to circuit and safety standards in motorsport. This corner at Villeneuve, this chicane, is where Roland Ratzenberger has his fatal crash the same weekend. This circuit is steeped in history, but some of it is quite dark, but it is history all the same. Out of Tosa, the hairpin, and then up to the second part of the lap, which really still has that sort of public road character, I have to say. This is Piratella, this fast sweeping left-hander. Got to be careful not to go too far onto that green AstroTurf. The general rule around Imola is if you see green, if it's dark green, stay off it. If it's light green, you can use it. The dark green is AstroTurf and it is quite slippery, especially here on the exit of Acque Minerale. And, well, Kevin Adrian does seem to be keeping the momentum up here as he comes up to Variante Alta, which is the chicane I believe you were referring to at the top of the show, Zippy. A flick to the right and the left over the curbs. Car looking nice and stable there for Kevin.
I gotta admit, that was an absolute belter of a chicane there. I definitely cannot take it that well. It's such a balancing act. You want to try and carry as much speed through as you possibly can. Here, I think we're going to see a couple of instances, double left-hander, because you're going down a hill a little bit there, and I do find it can actually be quite hard to get the vehicle slowed down. Maybe getting a little bit too much weight on the front of the car can make it a little bit light on the back end. But here we see Kevin Adrian is absolutely flying. It looks like a tidy lap. We got a couple of greens, a couple of orange in there. Are we going to see him improve from P7, albeit he is leading the Cup class overall? Oh my gosh, what a belter. He does moved it up into P2 overall. That is absolutely massive, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy for the guy, but that is such a huge lead there. His nearest competition is this man, Yan Cheek, who's currently back in P12. 10 places, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Adrian is on fire today.
And he did that lap without a lick of slipstream. That's incredible. Oh. I would have thought that slipstream would be the only chance you'd have to make your way up onto the front. Brandon Priest, though, has been the one who's capitalized on it all. He currently sits on provisional pole and the only driver in the 1 minute 58 second bracket in qualifying. Worth pointing out as well, Kevin Adrian ran his lap only 1,000th of a second faster than Zdenek Hamak. So this is looking like quite a competitive front of the field here today.
Yeah, honestly, it's going to be absolutely incredible racing. It looks like Zdenek Hamak has got a little bit of traffic around him. I do wonder if that's going to impact him. But look who is sneaking behind him. This definitely is not an accident here. Martin Visser has said, thank you very much. I know that the number 14 car is quick, and I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to tuck in right behind them and see if I can get a draft. I don't know if it's going to be beneficial for him this lap, but we're going to have to wait and see there. Certainly, a couple of drivers there flirting with the track limits. I know you can go over quite a lot there, Reese. I'm just not sure how far you can go over. I think if you go past the white line, I believe you would be marked as an off-track. As here you go through the chicane. I don't know if this lap is going to be the one for Martin Visser, but if anything at this point, I feel he probably wants to back up as Brandon Priest has gone purple in Sector 2.
Oh, he certainly has. May we see Brandon Priest increase his margin up at the front of the field. So looking over the track rules here, the cut track rules, it is the edge of the red and white curbing that is the track limits around basically the whole track. So I think everyone was legal on these laps. So we'll see these times come across here. The start finish line right there. And Ian Joyner will go to the top on a 158.913. Yanis Theophanopoulos making an improvement as well from 18th to 14th. So some good stuff happening from the drivers in this general area of the running order. But I got to wonder, Brandon Priest, will he be able to respond to that lap from Ian Joyner? I wonder if he's abandoned his lap at this point, or we might see a surprise from him. For now, on board with the number 14, as we find Zdenek Hamak trying his best to break into that top three that he would have seen in practice. Rich Meesters up into the top three now. Fantastic lap from him.
Yeah, I'm just having a look who is at the back of that pack. Well, no surprises, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ian Joyner. And to say that, look at this Meesters. That little fox, he's put himself up in P3 overall. Fair play.
Yes, indeed. That is what I just said, Zippy.
Oh, I was multitasking, Reese. I've got to admit, I was multitasking. Clearly not well, but fair play to him. It's just so hard to... Oh, whoops, by mine.
Yeah, all right. See you, mate.
Exit stage right.
Yeah, indeed. Spec Racer Ford, a very easy car to lose when it comes to the rear end.
Actually, we got a new driver in here, Reese. Jeffrey Owl. Who's this guy?
Yes, we have indeed. Yeah, first time we've seen him this season carrying the number 1 on his car, which is quite interesting. Jeffrey, for the moment, best time of a 2:01.7 in qualifying. The only drivers to not set a qualifying time at the moment, Kane Halliburton, our resident coach, of course, he will start from the back, and Carlos Facania, the Brazilian that we've seen competing in and around the midfield for the most part in this particular season. But yeah, curious to see a newcomer to this season. And
he's not meant to be in here. He's split too.
He's not?
No, he's not meant to be in here.
Oh dear. Sound the alarm. Red alert.
Yeah.
Mobilize the troops. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes going forward. But looks like that's the end of qualifying, and Domenico Sayu just slipping in at the final moment to promote himself up to P14. So that is quite the interesting conclusion to that qualifying session. And it looks to me like we're going to see Ian Joyner starting on pole position once again here, with Brandon Priest joining him on the front row. Awesome performance from Brandon. Also from Rich Meesters, Zdenek Hamak, and Kevin Adrian, who will round out our top 5. Kevin Adrian taking pole position in the club class. Zoltan Zomator joining him on the 3rd row. Tomas Nieminen and Martin Visser on row number 4, with Ilari Arnio and Mario Strelec making our top 10.
As we have a look there at P11, we got the UK man himself, Mr. Steve Saunders, alongside Jan Janchik for P12. Looking at 13th, Adam Meeker makes a return alongside Dominic Sayu. I think that's probably his best qualifying we've seen from him. Good job there, Dominico. He's there with Yanis Fiapanopoulos in 15th. Philip Falcon, the Canadian driver, takes 16th, with Javier Sabrino in 17th. James Conrad, I'm not sure where he's from, but he's there in 18th, with Mark Schmoder in 19th, and Philippe Besson rounding out your top 20.
Then it's the Czech Ondrej Svoboda with Neil England alongside Jeffrey Ahl, who once again is not meant to be in this particular server, starting alongside Carlos Facania. And then in the final grid spot will be Kane Halliburton, starting from the very back. How far will we see our coach, head coach at the Almeida Racing Academy, find his way up through the field here? It's going to be an interesting one. 15 minutes with a lap of around about 2 minutes, just under. We should be seeing an 8-lap race, I would imagine, from these first 2 stanzas of the night. We'll probably see 11 laps in the 20-minute feature later on. So keep those numbers in mind. There's not going to be as many opportunities to make your moves in these first couple of races. So I think the drivers are going to be dialing their aggression up a little.
Yeah, certainly myself, I love a race start. That is where I get most of my work done when it comes to position race. And don't get me wrong, I have a feeling, knowing the ARA and knowing just how keen these drivers are, the best way may indeed maybe take it a little bit easier. Certainly cold tyres can indeed be a thing. As we welcome Def Engineering to the chat as well, and indeed Olivier to the chat on Swellio's channel as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done it already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It will do nothing but help us grow the channel. The more we grow the channel, the more shows we can put on for you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the name of the game. But right now, Ian Joyner once again going to be there on pole. Rich Meesters made it up to P3. I got to admit, it's a lot to adjust to, ladies and gentlemen. He's just grown so much. You need to be part of the academy. I have access to the academy. I have to sit down and do it if I want to be as quick as that.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of great learning material to be found at the Almeida Racing Academy, and the drivers have managed to process all of that and put it into practice. Ian Joyner, though, up the front of this field, he is, I think, closest to being head and shoulders above the rest as I've seen from anyone this season, apart from Edwin Rivera. And I do hope that Edwin comes back for the next round and helps make it a close title fight to the end of the season. We've still got a few more rounds to go, and we can't let Ian Joyner get away with it completely. Let's see, though, how he conducts this race start here. The pace car is going to pull into the pits. A final little bit of potential tyre warm-up from Ian Joyner as we get ready for the race start. I see Brandon Priest was warming up his brakes a little bit there on the run to the start, so we'll see how that benefits him here in turn one. It's not going to benefit him on the race start, though, as Ian Joyner goes early, and Brandon Priest gets swallowed up by Rich Meesters and Zdenek Kamak. And that is going to give a black flag to Zdenek Hamak. That's not ideal at all. That's what happens when you have someone getting their start delayed ahead of you. I don't know if Rich Meesters ended up having the same thing happen to him. It doesn't look like that is the case, but it just sucks for Zdenek Hamak. That's far from ideal. He is not going to finish anywhere near the top in this one.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one, honestly. It looked like, I'm not sure what was happening with Brandon, but it looks like Zdenek actually paid the price for it. So definitely, I'm not too sure there on how I feel about that black flag. Don't get me wrong, iRacing has implemented it, and, you know, fair play, it's a computer, it has no sides, but on principle I feel that maybe something was missed there. As you see, Yan Cheek's already made it up 3 positions, as has Martin Visser as well, making it up 3 positions and all.
Yeah, indeed. So we've had some reasonably good gains made from a few drivers here in this field. For the moment, keep an eye on Visser as he tries his best to break a bit further into the top 5. Got Zoltan Zomotor up in front of him, but Zoltan runs deep at Acqua Minerale and off the circuit there. Does not get a slowdown penalty for that, so he's escaped that for the moment. For the moment, though, Thomas Niemann now has a front row view to this fight here. Kevin Adrian not quite able to get past Zomotor, but I'm sure with the pace that number 10's carrying, he'll have a fair chance to do it. The top 4 seem to be breaking away, and it looks like Brandon Priest has stayed within touch of Ian Joyner. He will get the slipstream down the start-finish stretch.
Yeah, certainly Joyner will be keen to try and check out. We've seen him do it race and race again. Ladies and gentlemen, if that man gets let loose, he is indeed going to check out. What we haven't seen much of is bump dropping or indeed bunny hopping here with the Almeida Racing Academy. And it looks like Kevin Adrian may be thinking about that as well, as Zdenek Hamak brings it down pit road. And yep, already we're seeing fight here. Kevin Adrian looking to try and capitalize and move up ahead of Zomotor. He's going to be on the outside of turn 1.
He is indeed, but we've seen in the past, side by side, at least I've seen it work out okay. You just got to stay off those curbs, and, well, you see that Kevin Adrian staunchly defends, and through comes Thomas Niemann, deciding, hello, I'm going to grab not 1, not 2, but maybe 3 positions out of that. And Ian Joyner is now under big pressure from Priest, Meesters, and Visser at the front of the field. This is turning into quite the intriguing race.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolutely fantastic battle here. Certainly Ian Joyner would have wanted to pull away, but the straights of Imola are indeed absolutely beneficial for these cars. The slipstream very potent, and indeed all 4 of these cars are going to be in a tandem. It's like we got the bobsled team going, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are going to be battling out, but we're going to take a quick peek here with Zoltan Zomotor now, as he's getting really close to the back of Mario Strelak, who's currently up there in P8.
Yeah, Zomotor losing a few positions on the first lap, so he'll want to try and gain those back post-haste. I don't know how successful he's going to be, though, because it seems like everyone is having some trouble with consistency here in the first couple of laps, except those at the front of the field. And just as I say that, Javier Sobrino turned around there. Yanis Theophanopoulos involved in that as well. Oh, dearie me. So that's our first big incident of the race, a bit of a coming together at Acqua Minerale. A corner where it's very easy to happen. It looks like a slide for Sobrino, and Theophanopoulos really couldn't do much about that.
Yeah, it looked like he'd already started to lose the car, and it just, again, nothing he could do here. Is Mark Schmurder and Andrzej Swoboda going side by side. I've got to say, Andrzej Swoboda, when he came in, started incredibly strong. We haven't seen as much form from him lately, but saying that, is already up 5 positions. As I say that, they are joint hard charger alongside with Yan Cheek now, who's currently up in, actually battling Kevin Adrian here for the lead of the club class.
Yeah, great run up through the field from Yan Cheek. Had quite a few Pro Class cars separating himself, or Premier Class cars separating himself from Kevin Adrian. And it looks like he's going to grab Thomas Niemann as well on the way into Tamburello. Excellent move. And we'll see what kind of response Niemann has. And if Kevin Adrian can try and follow him through here. Just goes to show here, like, look at how far ahead the top 4 are now. The more of these side-by-side exchanges you see, the bigger that gap's going to be. And they're going to have to settle for just fighting for 5th. Look at Adrian then up the inside of Niemann. Beautiful move at Tosa, but it looks like Niemann is going to try and get him back here. Bit of a better exit from the hairpin.
Yeah, they're having some fantastic racing, but in the long game, all they are doing right now is opening themselves up to the attack from behind of Mario Strelak. He's starting to make his way there. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for good racing, ladies and gentlemen. That is indeed exactly what we're getting. But already, Yan Cheek has managed to pull away 0.6 of a second. These guys need to get it into single file, put their heads down, and keep an eye on the long battle ahead if they want to try and get up there to the podium. As you can see there, Yan Cheek now pulling away even further, 0.9 of a second, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, it is the absolute jackpot for him, as it looks like Steve Saunders is getting into a battle as well.
Yeah, Saunders now getting amongst it here. Zoltan Zomotor ahead, but wow, Saunders really backed off into Variante Alta there. That's certainly not the entry speed that I would usually expect but he's kept it safe, he's kept it stable. He has remained just on the verge of the top 10 for the moment. So here we are then, again, with our top of the field, Brandon Priest taking the lead from Ian Joyner on this lap. I believe it may have been slipstream into Tamburello, which is exactly what Ian Joyner is going to attempt to do right back to him. And look at the slipstream that Martin Visser has here as well. Brandon Priest can do nothing but watch Ian Joyner sail by him, and he has to try and defend from the 137, who's right amongst it here. Meesters is just holding onto the back of that pack, side by side between Kevin Adrian and Thomas Nieminen, as Jan Cheek tries to skip away from them, but it's very easy to fall into the clutches of those behind at Imola. Joyner successful in getting past Brandon Priest for the lead, but for how long? I think there might be a bit of back and forth between these two to come.
Oh, 100%. It looks like if you're able to get a draft from not one but two cars going down the front straightaway, it is absolutely huge. Rich Meese is there. I have a feeling either he's barely holding on with the pace. All of these drivers ahead have hit the 58 so far. Oh, no, I say that. Just one of them's hit the 58s. That's Brandon Priest into the 58s, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed is Martin Visser as well. As it looks like Adrian, oh my, let's have a look back here. Something's going on. Yep, Jan Cheek and Kevin Adrian are going at it again as well. And Adrian there, he's there on the right. He's going to be a very tight inside line. I have a feeling we've seen a bit of this so far, Reese. Oh, contact! That was definitely contact. Jan Cheek able to keep it on course though. As I have a feeling we're seeing a little bit here where literally you have the speed. Like Niemannen's going to be in this boat right now. He's got the speed, but there's literally just nowhere he can go unless he wants to force it free wide. As you see there, Jan Cheek absolutely slides it up down the middle. He's going to have a compromised exit speed. Great move. Fair play. It was a great move, but he's now going to have a compromised exit, and Adrian's going to be right up behind him. But I have a feeling going down the straight, Nieminen, if he can find the real estate, is going to absolutely slingshot them both.
Yeah, I mean, if you can count on Jan Cheek for anything. Oh, no. Loses the rear end at Rivazza and has ended up losing the front bodywork of his car. I was about to say, you know, what you can count on Jan Cheek for is going for those dives and making those moves. It's always a pleasure to watch him battle, but unfortunately it seems the car got away from him there. And it's a very easy place to lose it too, trust me. I've driven so many laps around this circuit. I know it like the back of my hand. Turning into Rivazza 1 at the bottom of the hill, it's so easy to lose it. But Jan Cheek's going to try and fight his best here with a damaged car. I mean, there's really no point coming into the pits to repair that damage. You're just going to finish at the back, so you might as well try your best to hold on to as many positions as you can. He's still in the top 10, and if something happens ahead, he could well finish in P7, which is going to be pole position for race 2. Speaking of, Zoltan Zomator currently occupies it.
Yeah, and they're currently serving a slowdown as well. This could be good news here for Steve Saunders, who's going to get a catch-up. And not only that, he's going to bring a whole pack of cars with him, including Jan Cheek. Now, the good thing is for Jan, he is surrounded by cars, which you must be thinking, why is that a good thing? No, that is a good thing. The draft will be absolutely huge. He's going to have a compromised car. If he can keep in the draft, he may indeed be able to hold on. Dominic Sayu right behind him. Looks like he's got a little bit of damage there as well. Maybe, maybe not. Not quite sure on that one. I thought I saw a lick of damage there, but right now, Jan Cheek still very much, he's up 2 positions. If he can hold on, it could be an opportunity for him. As Ilari Arnio now, this is looking a little bit busy here. We got a freeway fight going on here with Adam Mika, Ilari Arnio, and indeed Philip Falcon getting involved as well.
So it looks like Arnio will lead the way out of the corner. Philip Falcon now with some pressure from behind from Mark Schmerder, but very keen on making the move on Adam Mika here. Draws up closer under the brakes at Rivazza, but it's all about the exit from this sequence, because this is where you pick up the slipstream. That's a great exit from the corner. It's a great way to start things off, and I'm sure that Falcon will be at least alongside by the time they get to Tamburello. Speaking of, Ian Joyner taking the lead from Brandon Priest, and Priest trying his best to fight back. There's no missing Brandon Priest's car, especially with that front-end design. And it looks like Martin Visser is sticking with them pretty well. Rich Meester is still technically with this pack, but unfortunately starting to slip back a little. There's been a big crash at Tamburello, meanwhile. Mario Strelec has been spat into the gravel trap, contact with Steven Saunders.
Let's take a quick peek here, see exactly what went on. There you go, Mario Strelick there, yeah, gets a little bit of a nudge there. Saunders, I think, didn't look intentional, but thankfully not too bad an incident, actually. It's definitely could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it does seem that Strelic does have some problems with car behavior from that, though. It's difficult, because that's where side-by-side through Tamburello can go wrong, because, you know, you're wanting to try and get the apex. Speaking of apexes, Visser finds it at Aqua Minerale and gets past Priest for second. But the speed bumps on the inside of the curbs at this racetrack, they can absolutely ruin you. So you want to try and stay off them. You're running side by side with someone on a direction change, it can be very easy to run into them. And that's what we saw happen between Steven Saunders and Mario Strelic. But for now, we're coming up on 2 laps to go. And the lead is still not quite decided. I think this is the biggest gap that Ian Joyner has enjoyed all race. Rich Meesters could still see a podium in his hands. He's got one hand on that 3rd place trophy, and he might just get it there, with Brandon Priest having to drag the brakes a bit past the apex of Rivazza 2, with the entire start-finish stretch ready for Rich Meesters to sweep on by.
Yeah, certainly it looks like they were actually starting to separate very slightly. These 2 guys in 3rd and 4th, they need to keep an eye on the battle going ahead. Meesters is going to get the nose, but if these guys fight too much, they are indeed going to lose the back of Martin Visser. 6 tenths of a second ahead now, 7 tenths of a second, 8 tenths of a second. You got to wonder what's going to be the biggest priority to him. You almost need Brandon Priest to give him a little bit of a poke and push him up the order. But we're going to have a check back here because, oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. A 5-way fight going on here for P11 overall.
Yeah, this is looking really good here. Laureano, Mark Schmerder, Philip Falcon, Adam Mika, and Andrei Svoboda all in the midst of this fight. And it looks to me like all of them, apart from Svoboda, are Premier Class drivers. Look at Falcon. He's braking so late into Tosa as the 18 and the 17 run side by side ahead.
Slow down.
This is going to be a good opportunity for everyone behind. Yes, Laureano getting a slowdown from that one, so I think he might trade spots with Philip Falcon on the way into Piratella.
Well, thankfully he has been able to shave that pretty quick there. I don't know how he managed to shave it so well, but fair play to him, as I could have swore for a second. Oh, no! Ah! That's not how that's meant to go. Oh dear.
Oh, I could see that happening in slow motion. I thought they're a bit too close together there, and they ended up interlocking wheels, and oh man, Philip Falcon and Laureano are going to have one hell of a debrief after this one.
Yeah, that's definitely not what they had in mind, but it looks like Rich Meesters now serving a slowdown. This could be absolutely catastrophic. If Brandon Priest is able to get away, that will indeed be the end of his chances of getting up onto the podium. Yan Cheek, though, I've got to say, fair play to him. Despite the fact he's got the open concept spec Ford going right now, he has indeed recovered and is now battling there with Steve Saunders despite the damage, but in a straight line, I'm pretty sure he's going to be very much at a disadvantage there. As you see Saunders pulling ahead, I think if I was Steve Saunders, I would try and stay side by side with him as long as possible. And indeed, oh my gosh, Priest has gone wide.
Oh, Priest has gone wide. Ian Joyner goes through the gravel trap. A 3-wide moment.
Martin Visser.
My God, Martin Visser having taken the lead from Ian Joyner over the course of the last lap are coming together in the slipstream towards the end of the start-finish stretch. That is incredible. Rich Meesters could win this if everything goes his way. That's the contact there. Ian Joyner trying to thread the needle between Brandon Priest and Martin Visser. Ultimately, Brandon Priest getting knocked off the circuit and Joyner braking way too late. Couldn't woe it up in time for Tamburello and had to clear the slowdown as well. So that's your top 3 now as it stands. Brandon Priest has lost touch with these 3, and Ian Joyner will want to try and get back past Meesters. Meesters wants to catch up to Visser. Who's going to take the win here?
Yeah, I don't know if I was Mises, but I would be very aware of that number 25 car right behind, and indeed the shoulder pads would be on, and not because of the 80s, but in more of a hockey style approach, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to want to try and hold on to that as long as possible. That could be his best result here ever at the Almeida Racing League, and certainly would be a hell of an achievement. Yan Yanchi currently serving a slowdown. That's going to put Steve Saunders back ahead, and Dominic Sayu now may get an opportunity as well. We're going to stay with this lead battle, ladies and gentlemen, as this could be a big one. Martin Visser has won in the ARA before, but can Rich Mises secure himself, I believe it would be a debut podium for him, or can Ian Joyner get the slipstream going down the front straight? Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an absolutely incredible battle all the way to the line.
All right, slipstream kicks in, the start-finish line beckons, and it looks like Martin Visser has done it. He's going to take victory in race 1 here today, with Rich Meesters taking second and championship leader Ian Joyner finishing third, pulling over right after the line. You can tell how he feels about how that one ended. Brandon Priest and Kevin Adrian round out your top 5. How about Kevin Adrian finishing in the win in the club class? Oh, dearie me. Looks like, yeah, he's picked up some damage late on, and he has lost 3 more positions on the run up to the line. What on earth happened to him? Well, his car looks clean there. This might have been a problem here at Variante Alta. Gets over the curb and gets unsettled into the tyre bundle. And so Mark Schmerder will unfortunately finish all the way down in 17th thanks to that. That's unfortunate. He was battling nicely for a top 10 place. Well, things are certainly looking interesting for the rest of the day of racing here. We've had a few drivers with great pace, unfortunately not getting the results that they wanted, but they will have a couple more chances to come after this. So, Martin Visser, Rich Meesters, and Ian Joyner are your podium from race 1. Fantastic job from all 3 of them. I believe we are still waiting on Philip Falcon to come across the line. He had to spend some time in the pit lane after his contact with Ilari Arnio, so it's going to take us about another minute or so to actually get those results, Zippy, but a brief moment of reflection as we wait for Falcon to cross the line.
Yeah, definitely an absolutely incredible move. And I do have to wonder as well, that's probably a little bit more aggressive than I'd expect to see from Ian Joyner. Are we potentially seeing him trying to make an opportunity here, or is he indeed starting to sweat under the pressure? Certainly, I wouldn't expect him to go for a 3 wide scenario, and especially for it to go in that kind of a direction. So fair play to him. He is an honest racer, though. He'll be looking to try and settle the score in a gentlemanly type fashion with Brandon Priest. Certainly both of these guys are battling for it, but I've got to say, fair play to him. Rich Meesters, his first ever podium here in the ARA. Not only that, he is in the Premier class as well. That is one hell of an achievement.
Certainly is. Fantastic stuff. Well, looks like the results are ready. And so Martin Visser, Rich Meesters, and Ian Joyner will be your podium from the first race. Zenek it's Brandon Priest who finishes in P4. Kevin Adrian winning in the club class. Niemann and Zomator Saunders up to the top 8. Domenico Sayu and Yan Yanchik rounding out your club class podium there. And everyone behind. Basically, take number 7, position number 7, Zoltan Zomator, put him at the front. That is how things are going to stand for the start of race 2.
Well, there you go, Reese, as if you were doing the honours, sir.
All right, so Zomator and Niemann are your front row with Adrian and Priest on row 2. Ian Joyner and Rich Meesters will take 5th and 6th with Martin Visser and Steve Saunders on the 4th row of the grid. Domenico Sayu and Yan Yanchik rounding out your top 10. And from here on back, it's where they finished in race 1, sorry.
Adam Mika is there in P11 with Andre Saboda in P2. I've got to say, Dominic Sayu, that's the highest up I've seen him as well. Fair play. Well done, young man. And having a look a little bit further back, Philip Misson is going to be in 13th with Mario Strolik in 14th. Yanis Theophanopoulos takes 15th with Sadek Hamag. Definitely got caught short. That first race, Black Flag, is going to follow him around for the afternoon. He's there in 16th with Mark Schmoder in 17th. Neil England, not seen much of him today. He's in 18th with Javier Sobrino in 19th. And James Conrad in 20th.
Carlos Facania, having largely uneventful race 1, is going to start 21st for race 2. Jeffrey Ahl starting alongside him. Then Philip Falcon and Ilari Arnio, who came together in the first race. Kane Halliburton, interestingly, present in the server, but not taking to the grid in either the previous race or this one. I don't think we'll see him on track at all tonight if that pattern continues. But we still have 24 drivers taking to the start of this one, and yeah, I'm very interested to see how much weaving they're doing here. I'm wondering what the track temperature is. 22 degrees Celsius. That's not exactly warm, but I'm sure they'll try and get any heat they can into these tires. So wait for the pace car to pull away, and we'll see what Zoltan Zomotor can do here. And whether or not Thomas Nieminen, who was involved in the fight for the top 5 early on in race 1, can capitalize on the invert here. Away they go at the front of the field. Green flag flies, and it looks like a bit more of an orderly start this time. Zoltan Zomotor will lead across the line, and they're already thinking about going 3 wide for third. Kevin Adrian stuck in between Ian Joyner and Brandon Priest as they make their way down to turn 1. Joyner will have the inside line for the opening corner, and they are 2 by 2 by 2, your top 6. Joyner gets on the power and takes second place from Thomas Nieminen with a straighter exit from Tamburello. And now Kevin Adrian is going to look in his mirrors and see a whole pack of angry, buzzing Spec Racer Fords behind him. The top 2 from race 1 right behind.
I gotta say, fair play to Zoltan Zomotor there, able to hold on to that. I do believe something happened with Mario Strelak at the start of that race. Definitely not what he had in mind. You could see him in the background as he made his way down through turn 1. But already, look at this. Zoltan Zomotor has been able to hold on. But for how long? Ian Joyner, we know if he gets in the front, he will do everything he can to pull away. But let's have a quick look further back as well. Zanek Hamak and indeed Ondrej Svoboda, both of these drivers from Croatia, can we potentially see a little bit of a patriotism between the two? I don't know if that's quite the camaraderie, perhaps, might be the better word, between these two. Actually, we've got a few scenarios like that. Neil England, Yanis Fiapanopoulos, both representing USA. Kevin Adrian and Rich Meesters, both representing Canada. Are we going to see potentially some camaraderie between them? As it looks like Nieminen now, the Finland driver in here, along with Ilari Arnio, who's a bit further back, currently in P22. Are we going to see a little bit of a opportunity here from Nieminen to try and find his way up to the top of the grid?
Yeah, indeed. Couple of flying fins in this one. I will do a minor correction. Svoboda is Czech, not Croatian. So
I failed geography, okay?
But that's all much of a muchness. I mean,
oh,
look, compared. Oh dear. That's at Ravazza, so it looks like maybe a bit of a trip into the gravel trap there for Rich Meesters. Not entirely sure. I don't think there was contact. He just went too deep.
Well, don't get me wrong, it's good to see that you managed to get a podium, but that is not the way it's celebrated. Indeed, the battle is back on for the lead of this race. Ian Joyner has managed to take it going down, heading into turn 1, but right now, Zoltan Zomotor has got even more to worry about. He's got Thomas Nieminen, he's got Brandon Priest, and Brandon Priest looking to try and make a move there, up ahead of Nieminen. He is so close to the back of that car, they are almost touching. Are we going to see a move up on the inside? Kevin Adrian right behind. Brandon Priest holds off, but for how long as they make their way around the right-hander and head towards the hairpin?
Brandon Priest seems to be really good at lining up the car for a nice straight exit, but he can't take advantage of his pace with Nieminen backing it into the corners a little bit more. It looks like all of this is allowing Ian Joyner to get away, and it seems Zoltan Zomotor is really enjoying this too. Here comes Martin Visser, meanwhile, on Kevin Adrian to try and get into the overall top 5. Adrian tapping the brakes on the outside there to try and get the car rotated, and it looks like Visser will be ahead into Acqua Minerale. And maybe for Adrian's sake, he'll want to try and latch onto the back of Martin Visser, because Jan Jančík is a lot closer than I think we anticipated. He is now in 7th place, only a couple of seconds behind Kevin Adrian for the top 2 in club. Oh, here comes Brandon Priest on Nieminen at Variante Alta, and the position is taken, but only just. It's so difficult to run side by side through there.
Well, I had a feeling Zomator would get a slowdown just ahead, and indeed he did. He is currently serving that slowdown penalty, so this could be absolutely catastrophic. Great news for Ian Joyner, though. Something's happened with Carlos Bacanha, and indeed Dominic Sayu. I've got warnings for them, but right now Zomator is going to be led back into the clutches here of Brandon Priest, and you see there, Zomator just gets out of it. He knows he's got to serve that slowdown quickly, or he'll get a black flag and have to drive through the pits, but absolutely catastrophic there. He's still trying to serve it, ladies and gentlemen. This could be huge. There you go, finally clear, but a huge result. Kevin Adrian now 2 seconds ahead. Domitor, his race absolutely destroyed by a bad exit from the final chicane.
Yeah, that's a shame there for Zomator. Almost contact between Brandon Priest and Martin Visser. And they will continue this absolute dogfight for the last 2 positions on the podium and the last of the positions in the top 5 as Niemanen almost sees an opportunity at Villeneuve, but this is hardly a passing opportunity, the entry to this chicane. You're better off trying to set up a run up the inside into Tosa, the hairpin, but none of them stick the nose out for the moment. Context for what happened to Domenico Sayu, he ended up catching the curb a bit too hard at the second apex of Variante Alta, and as he slid, unfortunately Andrei Svoboda tapped him around. No fault of Svoboda's, that's just how it ended up transpiring. And it seems that Svoboda has lost his front bodywork as well. I'm looking at him on my end. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but he will try and make the move on Philip Falcon at Piratella regardless.
Yeah, it's fair play. We saw Jan Cheek demonstrate that, the front bodywork, I guess, in this case is extra. But right now, Philip Falcon looking to try and put it up on the inside of him. He's got Philippe Masson right behind him. And actually, there's a bit of damage there on the back of Philip Falcon. So I'm starting to see a couple of the pieces go together as Falcon there looks like he's got absolutely no pace in a straight line. He's going to have to keep his foot in it if he wants to try and hold on. And yet, the outside drivers do indeed back off. He's going to be compromised on exit there. But fair play to him. He did manage to hold on.
Certainly did. But yeah, you're right. He's gotten a great whack up the rear as Philip Falcon, and I don't think that's going to help the behavior of his car very much. Zdenek Hamak, meanwhile, has worked his way back past Jan Janchik and up into 6th place. But they've got a great gulf between themselves and the top 5. Looks like about 3 seconds or so that they will have to make up to Kevin Adrian. I think these guys will have to work together somehow.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Look like they're going to plan it, though.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's not going to happen. Certainly, as a seasoned spec Ford racer, I can tell you that as much as I love a battle, I love a dogfight. Sometimes it is better to work together. But I have a feeling. Yep, here we go.
Oh no! God, no! Rich, what are you doing, mate? Up the inside here at Villeneuve, 3 wide. Jesus Christ! Mary and Joseph and the 3 wise men. How did they get out of that one?
I had a feeling, honestly, out of everybody, I think Rich was going to emerge victorious there, but I had a feeling that Zdenek Hamak was indeed going to be the meat in that sandwich, but look what has happened as a result. Zoltan Zomator is now in it as well. Zdenek Hamak and indeed Adam Mika there. All of these guys, we're going to have a 5-way fight with Steve Saunders going to get a front row seat to the show, free of charge, ladies and gentlemen. Something happens with these drivers. He will indeed be able to capitalize on it, as it looks like Jan Janchik and Rich Meesters now going at it as well.
And now the door opens for Zoltan Zomator, or does it? It doesn't look like it. He's going to do the wise thing and back off into Aqua Minerale. You do not want to go side by side through that corner unless you're very well prepared and really trust the drivers around you. It looks like Zomator will try his best to defend now from Zdenek Hamak here at Variante Alta. The move is made at the first apex, but they have lost touch just about with Jan Janchik and Rich Meesters, who now head that battle for P6. I wonder if these two are going to start working together a little bit. I'm sure they're aware that there's still 4 laps to go in this race, but Janchik seems pretty intent on getting it done on Meesters, and there's a touch and a touch again, and somehow Jan Janchik has straightened out Rich Meesters side by side. Then Zoltan Zomator. Oh God, there's more contact, and everyone in that pack gets involved.
Oh, that was incredible. I gotta say, Jan Janchik, he put a nose in where he probably shouldn't have done. You could almost see the cartoony bubble pop up with a couple of hashtags in it. And then he's like, okay, I can fix this. Fixes it, and then in comes the other car. That was a lot going on, but it was incredible. We were literally discussing it in the chat, how, you know, Jančík is quick, but sometimes he's just not the most consistent. That move there is what is costing him races, and I want to see him, you know, I love seeing a good race. I love seeing a good battle, but that's what could have indeed ruined him. As Rich Meesters now, he is flirting with danger, and it's fair to say he just got a slap.
Oh, yes, a slap right into the gravel trap out of Villeneuve, and he is going to have to stop and let all of the drivers go. I think, yeah, the stress is just too much sometimes. Oh, great avoidance from Jančík, I have to say. He very narrowly escaped being involved in a second crash with Meesters there. My lord, I barely have any processing power left in my brain after that last lap. We've still got a 20-minute race to go after this.
Well, this is one of the things I love about split racing. I remember when split racing didn't exist in iRacing. Certainly, it's been a bit of a game changer because it doesn't mean give you another opportunity to race again. But right now, Jančík, he's still very much there. Sadek Hamak has managed to make his way up 10 positions overall. Started in P16, made it up to P5 in class, and indeed P6 overall. Actually, Kevin Adrian's looking pretty steady right now. He's currently just about on the back of this lead pack there, and he's got a 10-second gap to P6 behind him, and about 11 seconds to Jančík. So all he has to do is realistically finish this race, and he's going to be in for a great points haul. But it looks like Ian Joyner and Martin Visser, the clash of the Titans, are once again going for it, ladies and gentlemen, as these two guys are about 6 tenths of a second ahead of Brandon Priest. And I do have to wonder if Visser, if he can give Joyner a little bit of a bump draft there and try and pull themselves away. But don't get me wrong, the draft is huge as more battling happening further back. Jančík there, and so that kind of, yep, going for it. Thanks, Chris.
So Jančík managing to defend from Zdeněk Hamáček, holding on to P6. You know, all that being said in the last couple of laps, still an impressive drive from Jančík that he's been able to hold on to this position in spite of everything that's been going on around him. Rich Meesters has picked up a black flag meanwhile and another slowdown. So his races, his night, his day of racing has just gone from incredible to you know, hopefully you can forget this quickly. For the moment, we'll see if Philippe Masson can hold on to 14th, because he has got Philip Falcon and Andrei Svoboda, both with varying states of damage, right behind him. Once again, there's so many battles happening in this race.
Yeah, I almost feel that we need to get a second broadcast going just for some of what's going on here. But it looks like I've seen a bit of movement going up there. Yeah, Sadek Hamak taking a little bit of a scenic route there, and now getting to serve the slowdown just to really add insult to injury. Let's try and find out exactly what happened.
Yes, looks like, I mean, he has been struggling a little bit for pace, and it looks like the run into Aqua Minerale was what did it. He went a little too deep there. He was trying to defend from Jančík, and a little bit of grass resulted in a lockup. So Hamak taking the old line around that part of the circuit. 2 laps to go then at the front of the field, and once again it's Martin Visser versus Ian Joyner, with Brandon Priest deciding, hey, I've got a run here, maybe I can make it 3 wide. No space to move ahead of Joyner and still be alongside Visser.
Oh.
So Ian Joyner just sneaks
contact
up the inside there of Priest, contact, and Priest is sent briefly into the grass and almost does the same thing right back to Joyner. Martin Visser says run away as these guys are going side by side into the fast chicane at Villeneuve. Priest gets the move done on Ian Joyner. Nieminen and Adrian still right in the thick of this battle, and Visser isn't out of the woods yet either. The gap is only 6-7 tenths of a second. That's all you need for a strong slipstream.
Yeah, certainly you see Visser there trying to break the draft look, and it's fair to say it's not going to work for him. But Joyner and indeed Nieminen are very close together. They're very much going for it. Kevin Adrian, I have a feeling, is playing a tactical game. He is just hanging there, trying to stay with this lead pack and seeing if something will go wrong that he can basically slipstream and get a few more points. Maybe go for a last lap dunge going down to the start-finish straight. Certainly that would be my tactic. He is not involved with these four Premier Class drivers ahead. while points are scored overall, he's aware that he's got 12, 13 seconds to Sadek Hamak, who's actually, he's still up there. He's currently in there in P6, ladies and gentlemen, overall, but he's got the time. Even if he drops back, it is not the end of the world. Just try and stay with this pack, see if you can pick up a few freebies at the end.
Oh boy. Well, the adventures of Philippe Masson and Philip Falcon continue here. And also for Mark Schmerder, who's managed to make his way back into the top 10 with a very battered number 17. Things are working out a bit better for him than they did in the previous race. And we'll still keep an eye out for Neil England as well, as Stephen Saunders with a lot of damage is going to make the move. But they're 3 wide for the lead again, Zippy. Final lap begins, and Ian Joyner looks like he's in the box seat to take the lead at Tamburello. Brandon Priest in the middle this time. Visser falls back behind the both of them. I've got to wonder who's going to be bravest on the brakes. It looks like it might be Ian Joyner. He's first to the apex of turn 1, but this battle is far from over. That's a poor exit for Ian Joyner, but Brandon Priest can't quite take advantage of it. He has to go off the circuit, and Joyner has lost a lot of pace here. Visser's going to try and get him at Villeneuve now. Easy does it, guys.
Yeah, I had a feeling we are going to see 3 wide through there, and it wasn't going to work out. As Niemanen now putting a nose in on Visser. Indeed, it is a Mexican wave, ladies and gentlemen, and right now, I don't know who's going to be hold. As Adrian now getting in there, I did say he would hold off till the last lap, and fair to say, you think he's taking the gloves off, thrown him out the window and said, all right, boys, let's go. As Adrian now trying to contend and move his way up through the field, but I have a feeling there may indeed be fireworks. Joyner, though, he is pretty good on the strategy, but certainly the 3 wide in the last race, potentially a big outcome. But Brandon Priest, I have to wonder, will he get a courtesy knowing the instant that occurred between himself and Joyner? Will Joyner maybe protect him so Priest can hold on to the lead?
That is a good question, and it's exactly what I was just thinking too. It's going to be interesting to see how this battle works out. Will Ian Joyner help Brandon Priest to this victory that maybe he feels he robbed him of, or will he battle hard to the very end? He's going to have to battle somehow, because Martin Visser doesn't have a horse in that race, and it looks like they both managed to jet away from Niemanen and Adrian on the way into Ravazza. Is there going to be a move here? No, it's going to be the slipstream being picked up by Martin Visser on the way out of these final corners. Brandon Priest leads the way out of the final turn. Joyner will pick up the slipstream. Will he commit to the move is the question. Where is the gap? It falls to the inside here for Ian Joyner, side by side across the line, and it looks like he's going to win the drag race to the line by less than a quarter of a car length. Good Lord, what a fantastic finish between those guys. 34 thousandths of a second between Ian Joyner and Brandon Priest. Zdenek Hamak almost getting it done, is he? Oh, he just finds his way past Adam Mika by I think a thousandth of a second or so.
It was tight, I can tell you that much.
300ths between them. We've had some great finishes here at Imola. Andre Svoboda just managing to get ahead of Carlos Facagna there, or hold him off at least, and nearly get Philippe Masson at the end as well. Very eventful race for Andre Svoboda, and I'd have to say quite an eventful race for just about everybody there. Rich Meesters will be, unfortunately, the last driver to cross the line there, and down in 22nd position after fighting for the lead. How things can go so very wrong in the blink of an eye. Your results from race 2 then. Ian Joyner wins once more from Brandon Priest, with Martin Visser, race 1 winner, finishing in P3. Thomas Niemanen finishing 4th, with Kevin Adrian winning the club class, rounding out the top 5. Zdenek Hamak and Adam Mika will split Kevin Adrian from Jan Jančík by 2 positions. A very consistent drive from Jan Jančík, despite the incidents he was involved in, still finishing 2nd in the club class. Yanis Theophanopoulos just behind him for 3rd, with Mark Schmerder rounding out the top 10, having a much better race than he did in race 1.
Yeah, I've got to admit though, Mark Schmerder, I'm yet to see him with a clean car today, so certainly keeps getting into the battles, but don't get me wrong, P10, and not only that, he is indeed, 4th, 6th, 7th in Premier Class for that race. he's managed to get away with it. But right now, James Conrad, he managed to score 11th with Neil England in 12th. Steve Saunders, he's got a little bit of pace in him today. He's in 13th with Philip Falcon right behind in 14th. Javier Sobrino is there in 15th with Philip Masson in 16th. Andres Saboda in 17th with Carlos Bacanha in 18th. Ilario Arneo in 19th. And Dominic Sayu rounding out your top 20.
Yeah, Jeffrey Al finishing in 21st place, ahead of Rich Meester's last finisher on the lead lap. Zoltan Zumator and Mario Strelec finishing 1 and 5 laps down, respectively, with Kane Halliburton not taking to the start. So, time for us to take a deep breath and give the floor to Suelio Almeida for about 30 seconds or so, as we're now on the warm-up.
If you're a racing driver and you want to reach an advanced level, there's a faster and easier way to become competitive. I've gone from this to this in 5 years. Now, we've created the perfect free driver development guide to help you understand the right order of racing skills to develop if you want to become a competitive driver as quickly as possible. This guide was made after 3,000 hours of combined high-level coaching.
And go.
Well, there we are then, once again. Head up the Almeida Racing Academy if you'd like to get better at iRacing, better at sim racing, better at real-world driving. If you're involved in that, Suelio Almeida and his associates have certainly transformed their sim careers into great real-life careers as well. We have talked to Connor Bell quite a few times on these streams, and he's having some great success in NASCAR Canada. Suelio Almeida racing in the real world in IMSA competition as well. So it's fantastic to see the pedigree that has come out of sim racing in the past few years, and the fact that those drivers are giving something back to the community by allowing their allowing other drivers to learn from them directly. Really fantastic to see, Zippy, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that is put into play with these students racing as well as they have.
Yeah, I've got to admit, it's been an absolute belter so far, Reese. I think it's probably my favourite round we've had this season. I mean, the racing's just incredible, and I think we've had it for a couple of weeks now. We've had a couple of different tracks where we've just looked at them and said, this is a really good teaching track. Like, we was at Magny Cours recently. First time I've been there, and I'm just looking at it and thinking, okay, Suelio, this could be a good one to, it's got so many opportunities for like the over and the undercut. Don't get me wrong, Suelio, way quicker than me, and for a good reason, ladies and gentlemen. He is indeed a master and the #1 sim racing coach in the world. But definitely we've seen Imola, really, really great track to try and get some passing opportunities in. Not only that, you got a lot of strategy in play as well. But I do believe we're gonna have to make a pit stop for this final race, Reece. So we're gonna see maybe a little bit of mix up in the driver behavior for the final race of the day.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I believe every other time we've run this format, there hasn't been the need for a pit stop in the 20-minute race, but we'll have to wait and see on that. You'll definitely need to take a pit stop in the endurance format of 40 minutes. So, yeah, we'll see how that works out when the drivers get to those. But for now, just a couple more seconds until we have the feature lined up. I think considering the form of Ian Joyner, Brandon Priest, and Martin Visser, they're still going to be the protagonists up the front. I think that Nieminen is going to try his best to stick with them. Kevin Adrian has had, I think, just about the most perfect night he's had of the whole season so far, consistently finishing 5th and 1st in the club class. So let's see if he can repeat that.
Yeah, certainly, it's definitely a good day if you can have, not only that, you start getting 0 incident races as well. That is indeed the way to be successful. It does look like there's a little bit of rockery there in some of the grass here at Imola.
Yeah, just a little bit. The grass at Imola is always an ever-present factor. It is an old-school circuit, to be sure. There are a couple of concrete and tarmac runoffs in places, but mostly it has those old-fashioned gravel traps and grass lining the circuit, so you do need to be careful if you end up going off. It's time for the final race of the day. And starting in pole position will be our championship leader, Ian Joyner, with Brandon Priest alongside. Can Brandon get a win out of this one? He needs to nail everything here. Martin Visser and Thomas Nieminen on your second row, with Kevin Adrian and Zdenek Hamak on row number 3. Adam Meeker and Jan Jančík on row number 4. Yanis Theophanopoulos in 9th. And Mark Schmerder will round out your top 10 on the grid.
As we have a look there, P11, it's going to be James Conrad alongside Neil England. In 13th, we got Steve Saunders with Philip Falcon alongside. In 15th, we got Javier Sabrino and Philip Masson rounding out your 8th row of the grid. Took me a minute there. Andre Svoboda's there in 17th with Carlos Facana alongside in 18th. Ilari Arnio takes 19th with Dominic Saiu, closing out your top 20.
It's Jeffrey Isles starting out of P21 alongside Rich Meesters, who we're expecting to make a phenomenal recovery in this one. Zoltan Zomotor as well as Mario Strelec. I think all 3 of them should be finishing in the top 10 on pace alone, but they will be starting in the final 3 positions on the grid, with once again Kane Halibut not taking to the start here. So let's go one more time, once more with feeling here at Imola. A fantastic location for a racetrack, a fantastic layout, fantastic cars, fantastic drivers. This event has had everything so far, and there is yet more to give.
Yeah, it's been an absolute belt, and I do have to wonder as well. We're getting some requests here from Jake Enns. He wants to see dirt track motorcycle racing and wants to see sim racing with semi-trucks too. That last one, I do wonder if I could pull that off. I do know of a truck racing sim, but I don't know if you can like broadcast it. Certainly, Reese, would you be up for driving some of that? Would that interest you?
Driving some of what? Sorry, I was looking at another window.
Big semi trucks in racing
big
environment.
Semi trucks. Oh God, yeah. I believe.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, for the Razor Studios sims have Formula Truck in them. That would certainly be an interesting proposition. I have driven them in the past, and they've been very fun indeed. But let's keep our eyes on these Spec Racer Fords in iRacing for just the next few moments as we get ready for the race start. Ian Joyner and Brandon Priest are your front row, and we have got the race of our lives about to happen here. This top 3 have been going at each other all event so far. Green flag flies, and Ian Joyner gets away. Brandon Priest and Martin Visser side by side. The slipstream picked up by Thomas Nieminen and Zdenek Hamak. And it looks like Hamak might just try to get Nieminen. Doesn't look like Niemanen's going to have much of a response for that, and Brandon Priest will get ahead of Martin Visser, with Ian Joyner trying to build a gap, but we know how this always goes at Imola. You might have a bit of a gap coming out of the first few turns, but they're going to catch you up by the end of the lap.
Yeah, fair play to him. It looks like Zoltan Zomotor has already managed to make up 5 positions. Fair play to him. That is absolutely fantastic. As Yanis Theophanopoulos there, don't know what quite has happened, but he's currently showing us back there in not even moving. I don't think he took to the start there. As indeed, the battles do continue. We've got to see all the way up. You've seen a pattern here. Single file all through the lead. Then we've got actually a little bit of a gap here between P12 and P13, between Steve Saunders and indeed Neil England.
Yes, Andre Svoboda just making his way past Neil England there. Svoboda up 4 positions from the start, which is great to see. England, I think, half thought about trying to go for the inside at Aqua Minerale, but everyone knows by now that that sequence of circuit is very difficult to make a pass on. Hardest charger on the lap so far is Javier Sabrino, who's managed to find his way up to 10th, and Zoltan Zomotor has also gained 5 positions. He is now in 18th, so... Oh dear! Oh no, he's gone off at Variante Alta. And did he? Oh, he slid over the curb and the AstroTurf got him. The direction change. He tried his best to correct the steering, but the car overcorrected on him. And that's going to be Nieminen towing back to pit lane from that. Race effectively over for the number 13, who was a factor in the top 6 for both of the races we've run so far. He will see no further result like that tonight. Meanwhile, it is on between Kevin Adrian and Jan Jančík for the club class lead, and for the first time today, Jan Jančík will find himself in the lead of his class as they are 2 by 2 for the top 4.
You see Brandon Priest getting a little bit of a wiggle there. The neck hammock starting to go down. And Ballbound making it 3 wide now. Yan Cheek now. What is he going to do? He is definitely an opportunist when it comes to race position. And yep, he's gone for it as he makes his way up into P3 overall, albeit very briefly as Brandon Priest returns to favor Kevin Adrian right up behind. Zdenek Hammock in there as well. And Adam Mika joining in on this top battle.
Oh, Yanchik running a little bit deep there. He's let Kevin Adrian and Zdenek Hammock back through there, but Yanchik does not give up in a fight. Let's see if they can hold it 2x2 through Piratella. No, I don't think this early on in the race they'd want to do that. It's a much longer race. I mean, it's only 5 minutes, but that is an eternity in racing terms. So Yanchik, I think, is going to be pressuring Kevin Adrian like that the whole time from now. And Brandon Priest running a little bit too wide out of Aqua Minerale. That will cost him a tiny bit of pace and also get him an extra incident point, but one thing's for sure, everyone in the top 7 has a chance here.
Yeah, very much so. For a second, I thought he was going to pick up a slowdown, but currently it's Dominic Sayu who's currently serving one of those. Actually, Philip Falcon just served one just a moment ago, and it looks like Ilari Arneo currently serving one as well. Indeed, I got to figure out a way to change that because, realistically, for iRacing, it's actually a black flag that you get, ladies and gentlemen, a flashing black flag. But the SDK overlay is indeed filled, ladies and gentlemen. I say that Javier Sabrino, you guys are doing it on demand now, picks up a slowdown as well. That's going to potentially bring Jeffrey Arl, who's actually going to get disqualified after this race. They are a split 2 driver. Sorry, buddy, you've got to make your way up to this one. You've overstepped the food chain on that one, my friend. As right now, Philip Falcon under attack from Zoltan Zomator, who's absolutely blazing through. He's up 13 positions from the start.
And it looks like he's getting a bit of a push from Philippe Masson as well. Moves his way through. Masson himself is up 3 places. Great to see. But yeah, Zoltan Zomator's run up through this field has been magnificent. I mean, he had been holding on to the back of that top fight in both races run so far, so makes sense that he would have a great pace advantage over everyone around him there. Yanchik's still holding on to 6th overall, and Kevin Adrian is still within range there. Adam Mika was briefly a part of this battle, but the number 31 seems to have fallen back slightly over the course of this lap, and I get the feeling we're about to see why.
Yeah, just got a little bit too deep into there, but I have a feeling that Yan Cheek may have a little bit of damage on the front of that car. Looking at the right front corner, I'm going to try and take a look from the back end of Kevin Adrian. Yeah. I do believe he's picked up a slight little bit of a wall wound during the battles.
Yeah, that I think that was picked up when we saw all of that side-by-side through Tosa on the previous lap. Yanchik was trying his best to get on the brakes as late as he could, but there were cars in front of him, and I think he just had a little panel rubbing going on there. It doesn't seem to have affected his pace all that much. Maybe he's just taking a lap or two to cool off, but the story will be told when they reach the start-finish stretch here, whether Yanchik is carrying some damage. And one thing's for sure, Martin Visser and Ian Joyner certainly become very familiar with each other over the course of this event. And Brandon Priest has been right there as well. As it looks like Philippe Masson and Andre Svoboda both falling down the order slightly as Visser pulls out of the slipstream there on Ian Joyner. Oh my God, Svoboda getting right into the back of Masson. That is the first time I've seen a Spec Racer Ford do a wheelie, Zippy.
Yeah, that was a fascinating occurrence there. I must have just completely missed the braking, and Philippe Masson just absolutely shunted right off the track.
Yeah, Philippe will be feeling none too happy about that. But up the front once more, Brandon Priest keeping an eye on things. Meanwhile, Steve Saunders and Adam Mika side by side through Villeneuve, and Saunders will win the fight. Saunders is having a good race at the moment, up 6 places. He was looking a little bit anonymous in races 1 and 2, despite being involved in a few battles. Now he's showing what he can do in this longer race.
Yeah, meantime, Ian Joyner and Zdenek Hammock are still going at it, but don't get me wrong, Zedek's been applying the pressure, and it looks like Yan Cheek is just about holding on to that draft. He has got to focus and stay with these guys. If he lets them get away, that's it. He is pretty much out to the wolves, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, if I was Yan Cheek, I'd very much just be trying to stay in the battle, stay with the pack, and start thinking about moves later in the end of the race here. It looks like Neil England now going at it with Philip Falcon.
Yeah, battle for 11th place. And we will see Ilariano and Rich Meesters, both drivers on a recovery from their race 2 result, rounding them up here into the final sequence of the lap. Oh, looks like Arnio had to delay his turn in for the left-hander there and will lose out in the short term. And actually, yeah, looks like Rich Meesters decided to have a go up the inside, and we couldn't see it from that onboard view. So, Rich Meesters up the inside at Rivazza will get it done nicely, but that's very deep. Was that contact, or was that Ilariano catching the grass on the way into Rivazza? That is the question.
Well, let's take another look here. You can see here Rich Meesters able to get side by side there, and we'll keep an eye on for the helicopter view. And I have a feeling Ilariano maybe just missed his braking very slightly. We'll see it here in just a second. Just braking on the curb. Yep, you're right. You called it, Reese. Dipped a wheel in the grass. Visser has gone off track.
Yeah, we've had a big development up the front while we were looking at that replay. Martin Visser was... Oh, goodness me, now Zdenek Hamak with issues. It looks like the front group is starting to fragment here. Visser is going to get back past Hamak, but yeah, I think he'll be none too happy about what happened at Tamburello. It just looked like a bit of understeer through the corner. Okay, so that's what happened to Hamak, but what happened to Visser is what triggered all of that. Visser up the inside of Brandon Priest, and then, yeah, honestly, I don't think there was much Priest could have done about that. He got squeezed a little bit by Visser.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, there is, as that is absolutely incredible action here. But let's return to the front, as right now, Kevin Adrian is not just in P3 overall leading the club class, but he has a huge competitor, Jan Janchik, right alongside him. Now, I know Jan, and he is going to be keen. He's going to be motivated. If I could chill this guy out just like 10-15%, I think his race results would indeed go up. There we go. That's something we need for, I don't know if it's in the Swellios course, but we need driving like mentality, driving focus, certainly knowing when to go to the move. I'm sure he's got that, but I guess just trying to level yourself out, I guess, really, and just, settle down as Jan Janchik moves his way into P3 overall. That is, without a doubt, his best result yet, as long as he can bring it to the end. There's still 10 minutes left to go.
Yeah, long way to go for Janchik, but yeah, I think there's quite a few drivers, sometimes myself included, who might benefit from a Pit Road Productions branded ice pack. If we could get that sorted, that'd be amazing. Just strap that to your head while you're racing and allow cooler heads to prevail.
Janchik,
Stephen Saunders. Oh dear. Picking that up at Tamburello, it seems. He'll have to let Kevin Adrian go into Villeneuve, but that's very smartly done by Janchik. He's going to clear a bit of the slowdown by doing that, and he'll still be in touch if he can get that slowdown cleared. There we go. On the way into Tosa, it has been cleared, and there's crucially still 0.8 of a second between them. That is close enough for Slipstream, and it seems Kevin Adrian has a tiny bit of damage to his rear end. The profile of the rear spoiler of his car will be affected as a result, and that might result in some unstable aerodynamic balance, which could work to Janchik's advantage.
Very much so, but right now Ian Joyner, he's currently pulled away about 1.3 seconds over Kevin Adrian. He runs a little bit wide there, flirting with the off track there. As Brandon Priest is almost out of drafting range. He's about a second ahead, ladies and gentlemen. I do have to wonder if it's going to be enough. Martin Visser, however, he's made his way past Steve Saunders, past Adam Meeker now, and he's going to be very keen to chase and get caught up with Zdenek Hamak. Certainly these two guys were fighting earlier on.
That's steep.
Good opportunity, though, for Steve Saunders and indeed for Adam Meeker. They've got one of the championship leaders there right ahead of them. And right now, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Steve Saunders is completely boxed in. Nowhere he can go. And, that's contact there with Meeker.
Oh, that is. A little bit of side-by-side in the braking zone. And Saunders is like, okay, I'm just going to stick the nose in. And we'll see that Adam Meeker will yield in the short term. For now, I'm honestly surprised that Martin Visser isn't further down than what he is, because that did look like a pretty significant incident he was involved in with Brandon Priest for the lead. both of these cars behind him will get a mammoth slipstream. Look at how much they're catching him up here in a straight line, but he'll stay ahead for the moment, still in 6th place overall. I mean, I'm not trying to minimize what happened to Visser, but it certainly could have been worse.
Yeah, 100%. You can see there, he absolutely parked that in the middle of the corner there. He is very much not wanting these guys to get past because he knows that in the corner, he's carrying just that little bit more speed now as a slowdown picked up by Rich Meesters. Again, Rich, what's going on, bud? You go and get a podium, and then it all goes downfield from there. And not only that, look at the damage on the front of that car.
Well, if he's having trouble with his front tire temperatures, at least there'll be a little more cooling available to them, at least on the outside edges. Meester's all alone on track at the moment. Doesn't seem to have anyone within a second of him. Mark Schmerder, meanwhile, has gone backwards a little from his P10 starting position. It hasn't been an entirely great race for everybody in this field. Seeing, you know, Sabrino and Masson, obviously, with their fair share of issues. Same for Philip Falcon and Andre Svoboda. The only car really in the second half of the field who I consider as having a really good race so far is this one we're riding on board with, Mario Strelec. He is up 11 positions.
Yeah, one thing I did notice is yet again Mark Schmerder has got damage to the front of that car, so definitely a driver who maybe needs to dial it back a little bit there. Steve Saunders has now picked up a slowdown. To see after all that's going to do to affect him, as indeed Zoltan Zomator moves his way up and is now 15 positions ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your hard charger of the field. James Conrad making his way past as well.
Yes, Conrad. Whoa. Okay,
Whoa.
Instantly into the gravel trap. I'm going to lose the position back to Steven Saunders as the lead is on again. Ian Joyner takes the fastest lap of the race, 1:58.215, as he moves past Brandon Priest. 6 minutes remaining on the timer. And Yan Cheek and Kevin Adrian, they're not just fighting for the club class win here. They are fighting for the overall podium. I think this is the battle we've been waiting to see all night. Finally, Yan Cheek has been able to get past and move up to Kevin Adrian and give him the fight that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, but just in the background, ladies and gentlemen, if he's going to be able to make it up there is Martin Visser. Now, I do have to think that these guys are maybe a little bit too far back. It's about a 4-second gap to them. But Adam Mika, I think he's a smart guy. I think he'll be aware of what is ahead. Zdenek Hammock 4 seconds ahead. He's just about catching up. Yeah, he's now within drafting range. So certainly, Yan Cheek and Adrian may want to think about what's happening behind them as well as what's happening alongside or indeed in front of them. As Zdenek Hammock, if he gets involved in this battle, we know he will indeed bring an extra weapon to the gunfight.
Looks like a little switch between Adrian and Yan Cheek there, and Zdenek Hammock will certainly be happy to see that. It's a little bit of time they've cost themselves as a result, and he can have a go at moving onto the overall podium himself. But question is, does he want to be that much of a cog or a spanner in the works of the battle for the club class lead? Visser has gotten a black flag, unfortunately, and that's off the circuit there for Mario Strelec. He unfortunately caught the grass there on the way to Aqua Minerale, an easy thing to do. Very easy to induce understeer by braking and turning at the same time, which is basically what you got to do to negotiate that complex. But Martin Visser, it's all gone wrong for him here. It looks like he's picked up a couple more incidents, either that or he didn't clear a slowdown in time. So unfortunately, he has to take a tour through pit lane.
Oh, look at this. I've been waiting for it the whole time. Attaboy, Kevin Adrian. He's realized that Hammock is coming and they said, Yan, I am going to latch onto your rear subframe and I am going to give you a shunt in the right direction. But I think it may be too little, too late. Yan Chi carrying a bit more speed than he's used to. That maybe upset his car a little bit there because obviously everything's going to change. You're going to have to brake a little bit earlier now. And Kevin Adrian said, okay, that didn't work. Screw it. I'm going up on the inside. Both of these cars with damage on the front. The time to try and help each other and move ahead has gone. A side-by-side contact with Zdenek Hammock. He's going to try and split the middle. This could end up terribly. Yan Cheek thankfully backs out of it, but that could have been utter chaos.
Oh, this has turned into a very good fight now, and it looks like Hamak is going to have momentum on the both of them as there's some technical problems there for Yanchik. I think Kevin Adrian might just have to let Zdenek Hamak go, but he's not going to. He's going to move back up the inside at Piratella, but clearly Hamak is on a hard charge at the moment. The red mist has descended, and he's going to get up the inside at Aqua Minerale, and now that is the overall podium potentially gone for Adrian and Yanchik, but Yanchik's picked up a black flag himself.
Oh, he was so close. Too many incident points, and that is going to be a drive-through penalty. He had to hold on for another 2.5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the iRacing gods have spoken. You can indeed flirt with the track limits. There is certainly, you can use an off-track as a technical advantage, but it is going to bite him hard today here at Imola.
I'm just sad now. I was really looking forward to seeing what Yanchik could do, fighting with Adrian, potentially to get an overall podium or a class win, but that's not going to happen now. Yanchik will pull into the pits, and I think the best he can hope for is, well, still a top 10 position, but unfortunately not much more to say besides. May be able to stay ahead of James Conrad for second in club, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Ian Joyner and Brandon Priest, two of our closest protagonists for the overall win, will continue their fight here, and it looks like, oh yes, okay, so James Conrad will move past Yanchik. Now the question is, can Yanchik stay on the class podium? Neil England not far behind him, so couple of developing stories here on the final lap.
Very much so, and it looks like Rich Mises has managed to find a little bit of extra pace there as he's now tucked up right behind Steve Saunders. He is currently battling for P7 in class or PA overall. Kevin Adrian resting in 4th right now. The only silver driver, well, I mean, they are silver. The only club level driver inside the top 5, ladies and gentlemen. But fair play to them. These guys are having an absolute belt of a race. Brandon Priest, he's been going at it with Ian Joyner. Certainly, we've seen some incredible rivalry from these guys. But Zdenek Hamak now, he's got Kevin Adrian right behind. We've got cheers for Adrian in the chat here from Jake N. Certainly got a cheerleading squad there, Kevin, but you've got to try and keep it going. I know that this man is very, he will think about the long game, and certainly 4th place is a good point haul, but you got to ask, when is he going to make the pass? I'm wondering if we're going to be starting the last lap now, as certainly next time round is indeed going to be hitting that 20-minute marker.
Yeah, actually, it looks like it. I might have called it a lap early, so yeah, these two will continue their fight with 20 seconds on the timer. Oh, that's a little bit wide on the way in from Brandon Priest, but I tell you what, he might be putting himself in a good position here. That might have been half tactical from Brandon Priest. Ian Joyner's going to move by here with mere seconds remaining on the timer. They cross the line with 5 seconds to go. This will be the final lap of the race. And it is between Ian Joyner and Brandon Priest and no one else. They have had so many other challenges in this final race of the day, but it all comes down to just the two of them. The others have fallen by the wayside one way or another.
Yeah, it's certainly not what they were looking for. Looks like James Conrad's going at it as well. We got a three-way fight between himself, Steve Saunders, and Rich Mises there battling for P7 overall. As it looks like Saunders going to try and make a move up on the inside, thinks better of it, and Rich Mises stays ahead, at least for now. As I say that, Mises takes to the sand and picks himself up a slowdown for the privilege.
Well, he stayed ahead.
For now.
I mean, that's one way to do it, but well, we'll see. Kevin Adrian and Zdenek Hamak continue their fight for overall P3. Kevin Adrian on his way to winning all 3 races in the club class at this point. He'll just be hoping that the final battle is clean. We're hoping the final battle is clean between these two as well. Looks like Ian Joyner nailing the exit of Aqua Minerale and weaving a tiny bit to try and break the slipstream off Brandon Priest. There is still a chance here. Got to nail the curb. Get your run on the way out of Variante Alta. Pick up a bit more of the slipstream on the run down to Piratella. Sorry, Rivazza. I always get those corners confused. Rivazza here, the final of the 2 corners.
Oh!
And he's making his move there in the braking zone. Yes. Oh, okay. So that's going to change the battle for 3rd, but for victory, Looks like Ian Joyner is rapidly trying his best to break this slipstream. Can Brandon Priest get him here on the run up to the line? I don't think so. I think that's done it. Ian Joyner wins race 3, and Zdenek Hamak is going to finish in 3rd ahead of Kevin Adrian. So no overall podium for our number 10 today, but he does a clean sweep of the club class, which is fantastic to see. Adam Mika and Zoltan Zumator round out your top 6, and then Stephen Saunders is going to have the run on Rich Meesters to the line, and he's going to take 7th overall right in the final moments.
Yeah, fair play to him. We're going to head a little bit further back because it looks like Mark Schmurder's going at it as well, alongside Larry Arneo, and Schmurder by a nose.
Woohoo! Very nice. Great battle there between Schmurder and Arneo. Philip Falcon finishing in P17, and amazingly, we've still got 21 cars running here. Unfortunately, we didn't see Yanis Theophanopoulos take to the start. Thomas Niemanen retired early on, and it looks like Domenico Sayu retired a bit later on as well. So a real shame for all of them. Jančík, honestly, still a fantastic night from him, results-wise. Consistently on the class podium in all 3 races today, but he would have been hoping that that final race went a little differently. Just got caught out by the automated penalty system in a race that he could have finished on the overall podium. But there's plenty to learn from that. I'm sure that he'll take that forward with him into future rounds.
Yeah, certainly. I think that was his best outing so far for this season. But definitely a little bit more learning to be done. But fair play to him. He's got the pace. Maybe just needs to settle it down a little bit. I feel like a broken record, but I get it. You know, myself, but don't always have the pace. But a lot of my incidents, it'll be just because I've gone for the move that maybe I shouldn't have done. 95% of the time it plays off, but it depends on just what exactly you're competing for. If it's just for a fun race and you're happy to take that risk, go for it. If you're thinking about the bigger picture, though, sometimes it does indeed come up to risk versus reward. To quote Mr. C.R. Reid, my iRacing mentor, certainly when I first started, low risk, high reward. But Reese, let's have a look at these results here for the final round of Imola.
Yes, indeed. Joyner, Priest, and Hamak, your podium. Adrian and Mika round out your top 5. Then it's Zumator, Saunders, Meesters, and Conrad, with Jančík rounding out the top 10. That try and set that to a rap beat.
As you look there at P11, Martin Visser took that with Neil England in 12th. Mark Schmurder, definitely, I'm curious how he kept getting into so much damage there. He was there in 13th with Laureano in 14th. Mario Strelec, he is indeed a Croatian driver. He's there in 15th with, or I've got that backwards again, with Philip Masson in 16th. Philip Falcon took 17th. These guys are often together, actually, Philippe and Philip, with Andre Saboto in 18th, Javier Sabrino in 19th, and Carlos Facanha in the 20th spot. Actually, that's the point there. I haven't seen Gabriel Ardigo back yet this season, which is such a shame because he showed such promise here at the start of the season.
Certainly did, even taking a couple of wins here and there. And for the record, you are correct, Mario Strelec is the Croatian in this field.
There we go.
So, Jeffrey Ahl started 21st, finished 21st, ahead of Domenico Sayu, who retired 3 laps from the end. Thomas Niemanen, after an off at the top of the circuit, unfortunately retiring early on. And Yanis Theophanopoulos, despite getting a top 10 in race 2, not taking to the start of race 3. Kane Halliburton was a ghost today. Ooh, scary. And it's time for our driver interviews. Ian Joyner is going to be the first to join us from the lead of the pro class, or the premier class here at the Almeida Racing League. I mean, honestly, I don't think anyone was safe in that lead battle, Ian. The slipstream was so strong here and so many great passing opportunities at the circuit. You really had to stay on your toes.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really, really tough. And Brandon and Martin was super fast as well. So I think one of the interesting things about this track is that you, like a couple of weeks ago at Chicago, where if you run wide, it's game over. But here, you run wide, you get a 1x, but you go a little faster. So it's kind of, even brings the field together even more, because when people do make little mistakes, they're almost rewarded for it. And you get kind of tactical off tracking. So it brings the field together, big long straights, fast entries, 2, 3, 4 ride. It was fun out there, must have been fun to watch.
It certainly was. We didn't have a single dull moment in this broadcast for sure. Well, with Edwin Rivera not getting any results last week at VIR and not being present at all for this round here at Imola, that's given you a leg up in the championship coming into these final few rounds. But if he returns, I think you're still going to have to be looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, I believe Edwin's taking a break because of work now, so I think that might be that from that point of view. But the racing, I mean, yeah, it's an academy. It's about learning, and as long as we're getting races like this, yeah, it's fun. It's fun, whatever, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also had the likes of Priest and Visser, and so getting right up there with you. Priest, I think, was the biggest competitor you had tonight. You two came to blows once or twice, but largely some great battling between you two.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's great fun racing with Brandon. Yeah, I did apologise to him for the first race. It was on me, really. I just got a little caught out by mine. I think he said afterwards he thought it was the last lap, so I was confused by the fact he sort of passed me ahead of the line, because I didn't think that was really an advantage. He then, and to be fair, I was just a bit slow out the corner as well, so I was kind of wondering what Martin was doing, and then suddenly Brandon was there as well, and I think I was probably just a little frustrated and broke a little bit too late and bounced off mine into Brandon, so yeah, sorry, Brandon.
I'm sure there's no hard feelings there. Regardless, fantastic night of results once again for you, Ian, and we'll see how things go for you next week. Hopefully we're speaking to you again then. Thank you for joining us.
See you then.
All right, that is Ian Joyner winning 2 of the 3 races here tonight. The man who finished on the podium in one of the races tonight, Rich Meesters, is now with us. Zippy has got him.
Well, Rich, I got to say, it's been an absolute journey for you, sir, and fair play to you. You've been able to squeeze in some good results and making your first ever podium overall here in the Almeida Racing Academy. Tell us a bit about the emotion that went through you when that actually occurred.
Yeah, thanks, Zippy. I was very happy, obviously. I think I got lucked out a little bit. The penultimate lap, I got a slow down. I had to let Brandon by, and I figured the podium was gone at that point. And then just, obviously the incident in front on the last lap gave me a little bit of a gift, but it was very, very happy with it. And I think I was there and thereabouts for most of that race.
Yeah, definitely. It's you made an absolutely dashing attempt through the field there. Only Zoltan Zomator was able to top you for hard charger. He made 17, you made 14, but still, it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. Now, Rich, I do feel bad. I do roast the days when you were not that quick, and fair play to you. Like we started the show where I said, "Yeah, put it bluntly, I used to eat this guy for breakfast," and that's not the case anymore. Rich, certainly you can relate to this, but just tell us how the Academy has helped you get faster and indeed make you a championship contender potentially. You were in the making your way into P11 before we went into the show. Definitely going to have a few more points under your roster now. Tell us how the Academy has helped you get faster.
Oh, just a lot of learning the workshops. I've done a couple of one-on-one coach sessions with Coach Connor, and just, learning how to control the car better, get on power on the apex, manage my turns, and just manage the corners overall just to get faster. It's been quite the journey.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the results here. The one and only Mr. Rich Meesters here for Cool Camel Racing, making his debut podium, ladies and gentlemen, in the Almeida Racing Academy. And certainly, as well, you were also in Split 2 last season, made your way up to Split 1, and then go and podium in it. What a transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Canadian driver, the one, the only, Mr. Rich Meesters.
Thanks, Zippy. Have a good day.
You too, sir. Well, Reese, I understand you've been able to catch up with Kevin and Adrian. We are also trying to get an eye out for Yan Cheek as well. Certainly we saw some good battles between himself and Kevin, but Reese, take it away.
Yes, I have caught up to Kevin Adrian, and my legs are now stubs because, my goodness, Kevin, you were rapid today, winning all 3 races in the club class. That's an incredible result for you, and you were right in the thick of the top battles all the way through as well. Just tell us what that experience was like.
Yeah, it's fun running with those guys at the front. They're really fast, so as long as you stay in their draft, it helps because you watch the guys behind you falling a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds behind you, and then you know that you can start battling them a little bit. I didn't really have the pace to battle them too much. I was just trying to stay with them. And fortunately, it got me some good results. I think I got fifth, and fourth, I think, in the last race. So I got to be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 top 5s. That would be a fantastic result for any driver in any series, let alone one as competitive as this. And in race 3 in particular, you had an absolute dogfight with Jan Jančík for the club class victory, and it seemed like you two were racing as close as you possibly can in these cars without punting each other off. It was certainly a showcase of a hard but clean fight.
Yeah, we have very similar pace, and
Oops, my bad. Sorry.
I just had to brake for some incident in front of me, and he got into the back of me, and yeah, that happens. But I think the main thing for me was staying away from the off tracks, because they can come up you quickly. You can get 2 or 3 every lap if you really want to. So I was trying to keep them down, and he ran into the back of me, and it looked like he got over the incident points, and that put me up to like 14. So I just had to be a little careful at the end there, and I made it through. And he unfortunately had a drive-through, because it would have been a good battle to the end.
Yeah, me and Zippy were quite disappointed that happened to Jan, because it would have been great to see you guys fighting all the way to the end. But regardless, a fantastic points haul for you from the racing here at Imola today. And hopefully you can carry that through to the remaining rounds of this championship. Kevin, congratulations, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks to you guys for putting this on every week. It's always great. Thanks.
And finally, we're going to get the other side of that story, Zippy, because I understand you've had a chance to catch up to Jan Jančík, who joins us for the first time in the interview booth.
Hello there, everybody.
Well, yeah, and I got to admit, it was definitely a race of highs and lows today, but certainly I think it was honestly one of your best rounds yet. Don't get me wrong, getting caught with the drive-through at the end, you picked up a few off tracks, but what an absolutely incredible battle. Certainly up there with the top of the pack, and indeed battling with Kevin Adrian throughout most of the afternoon. Tell us a little bit about what was going through your head while you were trying to get yourself ahead here at Imola.
Oh, well, I didn't really practice a lot, so I was not expecting much today, even though I had pretty good pace. What can I say? The first race was fun until I spun out on the dirt, entering the final 2 corners. It was really bad because I lost my front and had to try my best to just hang on. But overall, yeah, it was a good race, but some of the moments I'm pretty gutted with because I got shafted by the game slowdowns and some of the 4Xs for not much at all. That gave me the black flag in the end. So I was pretty gutted in the last race.
Well, certainly, Jan, like, I feel for you. Myself, I've definitely been caught out by that. I think Zdeněk Hamák actually got absolutely penalized at the race start of round 1. So him also having a little bit of a disagreement there with the iRacing stewards. But Jan, certainly, you've always had a bit of pace behind you, but we've seen you start to get even quicker these last few rounds. Now, just tell us, you're a member of the Academy. We've seen improvement. Tell us what you found has really worked for you. What is it? Is it the workshops? Is it like the lap guides from Kane? Is it like the competition? Tell us a little bit about that from your point of view.
Well, to be honest, I don't spend as much time as I should developing my skills. But what helped me the most in the Academy and stuff was learning how to battle with people and being more consistent with the car control. So I'm pretty confident with my car driving, and then I can calculate how to battle people. So that helped me the most, but I know I can get a lot faster if I focus a lot more on this all. But the grind solo is just not for me. I usually practice pretty short sessions and go for races.
Yeah, myself, I've always had a hard time just practicing solo, but that indeed is a good reason to do the Academy. They do pit parties, ladies and gentlemen, but certainly it looked like you and Kevin Adrian have been good, really good rivals throughout the season. Certainly it's not unfamiliar to see you two guys going side by side, wheel to wheel. But Jan, it's been a pleasure getting you here in the interview booth finally, and not only that, one of your better results we've seen. We're hoping you can just keep working on your skills, and hopefully we can see you in here again. But ladies and gentlemen, the driver of the number 445 with a bit of support there from the chat there, Jake and Kevin's giving you a little bit of a cheerleading section as well. Cairo not here, but actually Kevin as well. You were named his favorite Canadian today, so congratulations to you. Jake ends our impartial judge, I guess, but congratulations to the both of you, and hopefully we'll see you back here next week when we continue with the Almeida Racing League.
Yeah, thank you guys a lot, and it was fun racing with Kevin. Great fun. See you guys.
Fantastic stuff from Jan Janchik and Kevin Adrian tonight. Really happy to see them get such great results. In spite of all the chaos, all the biffing and barging that we saw all throughout this field, I think it's par for the course, really, in such a field as competitive as this and cars as great as this. Zippy, any final thoughts from you before we transition to the next round?
I guess just that I really wanted to drive that race, and you can see why. What an absolutely fantastic afternoon, morning, or indeed good evening, wherever you may be, ladies and gentlemen, of racing. It was, I think, without a doubt, my favorite round we've seen so far this season. I've always been a good advocate for the Spec Racer Ford. I feel it lets you race side by side, and it gives you just enough body panels that indeed you can have that little bit of a touch. You can have a little bit of a nudge there. You can indeed race without fear of absolutely dire consequences. But the slipstream just adds to that. If you want to break that slipstream, you've got to absolutely run away. But the Almeida Academy, like, we see drivers develop, we see drivers getting better, and not only that, with the update, the Almeida Academy 3.0 coming very, very shortly, next couple of weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be involved in this league, if you want to get faster, you have got to be a member. You've got to do it. And honestly, why wouldn't you want to be? It's the same as anything else in iRacing. And sometimes, you know, you go and you'll pay for an overlay, or, you know, you'll pay for setups and stuff like that. Well, that's all very good, paying for an overlay, paying for setups. But realistically, the best way to make you faster is with the right teaching materials and indeed the right community. So if you want to put your money where it really matters, by all means, start becoming a member of the Almeida Racing Academy. But Reese, I think it's time to do the honor, sir. Let's bring this day to a close.
Yes, indeed, and what a day it was. Next round is Road America, the final endurance round of the season. So let's make sure that we're all good, set, and ready to go for that one. Make sure that you grab a drink, grab a snack, and settle in this time next week for more racing in the Almeida Racing League. Big thanks to Podium One and World of Racing for their support of this championship, and to all the crew at the Almeida Racing Academy for bringing this series to us here at Pit Road Productions and allowing us to bring it to the world. I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box and also producing behind the scenes. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you're from, whatever platform you found us on, and we'll see you again next round.
If you're a racing driver and you want to reach an advanced level, there's a faster and easier way to become competitive. I've gone from this to this in 5 years. Now, we've created the perfect free driver development guide to help you understand the right order of racing skills to develop if you want to become a competitive driver as quickly as possible. This guide was made after 3,000 hours of combined high-level coaching.